do? What do you do? What do you do? That's the video. Right. Sit, sit. Right. Okay. Hi, and welcome to our garden, just outside Winslow on a rather pleasant and warming April morning. Big job this time of year, of course, is deadheading. It's a strange term, isn't it? But it's one we talk about an awful lot during the summer with our summer bedding plants. You know, our fuchsias and pelargoniums, geraniums need to be constantly cleaned up to keep the flowers going. But of course, when it comes to daffodils, it's even more important, because if you leave a daffodil to produce a seed pod, I'll give you an example here. I'll just chop this one off here, bring it to the camera. You can already see the seed pod starting to form. So the plant basically puts all its energy in producing seed, potentially at the expense of flowers for next year. So as the flowers start to fade, take the flower head and the seed head off, but leave the stem. The temptation is to follow the stem right back to the bottom and cut it. Please don't. Leave the stem, because this will then die back into the bulb and help to form a much better potentially flowering bulb for next year. You could also, if you've got large clumps of daffodils, give them a feed as well. As you know, I'm a great believer in using potassium in the garden. So something like sulphate of potash, a tomato feed, whatever you've got in your shed or your garage at the moment, give them a little bit of feed just to help them along. Now the other thing, and that, by the way, that includes all bulbs. So as your tulip starts to finish, your mascara, your grape hyacinths, or your other alpine bulbs, your iris, go along with those. Even your galanthus, your snowdrops, which you may have been missing recently, give those a trim back too. The other plant which probably needs a bit of a tidy up as well, I'm sure we've all got one of these in our garden, I've got quite a few, are hydrangeas. Now most people say, oh, leave the flowers on to protect the plants through the winter, which is true, but we're in April now, plants are starting to grow already. We've got lots of shoots starting to form. We had a very mild winter, we've had quite a cold March. As you can see, there's a bit of frost damage on these stems, so effectively these are pretty useless. What I tend to do is just take those flowering stems off, and I don't put them on the compost heap. I leave them, because around us at the moment we've got nest boxes. Often the flower heads of hydrangeas make perfect fodder, bedding material for our birds. So please, when you're trimming your hydrangeas, just leave these around. It's not too untidy, they'll disappear, and if they're not used after probably 6-8 weeks, then you can then perhaps get rid of them. Obviously not put them on the compost heap by then, but obviously try and give them get rid of them, maybe destroy them that way. Your hydrangeas, of course, will need a bit of a feed too. A general feed, something like Vitax Q4 or Bloodfish and Bone, just to give them a bit of a stimulus. It's going to be a long, hard slog for a lot of shrubs this year, because of course we had such a wet autumn, winter and early spring. So all the goodness will have probably disappeared out of our soil, so we do need to replace that with some feed. So try and get a bit of feed around those plants you trim back. Thank you very much. See you again.